Welcome. So today we're going to go over the dynamic warm-up you can do before your workouts. There are 6 movements for your warm-ups. Some movements may have different variations based on your experience level, but you want to do the one that you can complete all the way through but challenges you the most. Let's begin. So first up, we have the toes up toe touch. We're going to be setting up our toes on a small pad. I'm using a 25-pound plate here. To start, you're going to be hinging through your hips, really reaching behind you with that bum. So as you push your hips back, be sure to keep a nice tall chest, no excessive curving in that upper spine. We're going to feel a nice lengthening of that posterior chain, so your hamstrings, your calves, all on your back side. Next up, we have the pigeon stretch on the box. Now what you're going to be doing here is propping your foot up on the ledge, and you're rotating your upper body into the hip that is on the box. So what we want to do here is minimize the twisting at the lumbar spine and really rotate through that thoracic region. Feeling a nice pull in the glutes, the outer glutes, and the hip capsule. So as you're doing this, you should be feeling it on the outer side of the glute of the leg that's on the box. And for a little bit more of a pull in that glute, you can lightly pull the knee to the opposite shoulder. Now to make it a little bit more challenging, we can do the pigeon stretch on the floor, where we would start in a push-up position and we're bringing the leg up to have the shin parallel to your hands. Now this is a bit harder than the first option, but as you bring your foot up, the foot should actually be close to the hand. We don't want the foot to drag behind down by the trailing knee here. Once you're finished, then we're going to move on to the toe grab to squat to butt lift. Now here, we're going to start off by grabbing the toes, sitting back into the squatting position here, getting a nice tall posture, and prying those knees apart with the elbows, pushing the butt up in the air, getting a nice big stretch to those hamstrings, and rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. Now as you go down, you want to make sure to pry those knees open and keep a nice tall chest. From here, we're pushing that butt to the ceiling, lengthening those hamstrings, and rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. If you can't quite get down in that squat position, here's a modified version for you using a bench behind you as a target. Same position here, grabbing the toes, prying those knees apart, driving the butt to the ceiling, and rolling up. This time, you're just shooting for that butt just to hit that bench and finishing the movement. Next up, we have the Spider-Man lunge. So starting in the push-up position, hands are right underneath the shoulders. We're going to be walking the foot up to the outside of the hand and rotating in towards that knee that's forward. Now as you rotate, you want to follow your fingertips with your eyes. That's going to make nice even rotation. We want to use the upper back, the thoracic region, to do the main rotation here, and avoid any lumbar rotation, as that can cause some issues. Now this is the modified version, where you're going to be on the knees. Same concept. We want to bring the feet to the outside of the hands, and we're rotating in towards that forward knee. So as you rotate up, keep your eyes on your fingertips and follow those fingertips throughout the whole range of motion. You can also use yoga blocks to help you get into a more comfortable position. Now if that is still a challenge for you, you can always go into the T-spine rib roll. So this is also good for people with tight upper back and upper chest areas. So you can see here we're in the quadruped position on the hands and the knees. Got the hand on the back of the head, and we're bringing the elbow under and over the body here. Rolling the ribs, bringing the elbow under and over. Notice how this is just the thoracic spine moving, the upper back, the lower back stays nice and still. You want to imagine you have a pot of coffee right on that lower back and you don't want to spill. Really helping with tightness in the upper thoracic region. Next we have the downward dog. So starting in the push-up position, hands are going to stay in place and we're going to rock back and sink the heels into the ground. So as you sink those heels into the ground, we're driving that butt in the air. The heels may not get all the way to the ground, but we're looking for long shoulders throughout that whole movement. Now, if you want to make this a little bit more challenging, you could see you can add the push-up in there and work the downward dog in through the push-up here. Remember, bum is back and up to the ceiling. So if that's a challenge for you, you can always go into the downward dog rock, which is right here. The knees are going to be a bit behind the hips starting off, and we're rocking the body backwards while keeping the palms flat on the ground. Getting a nice shoulder flexion, having nice long shoulders through each movement. Next up, we have the TRX row. Now, if you have a TRX at your gym or your house, I highly recommend using them. For the rows, we want to start off gripping the handles in the neutral position, and this is the palms facing each other. You want to walk your feet forward to a comfortable starting position. So as you can see here, you want to align your spine from your head down to your heels. A nice straight line from head to shoulders to hips to heels. Now the next thing you want to focus on is your foot placement. The level of difficulty is going to solely depend on your foot placement. The farther you walk your feet forward, the more gravity and body weight you have to battle against, and the more weight you have to lift. So you're pulling yourself up, pulling your chest between your hands, and controlled on the way down. Now as you walk your feet back, it's going to make it a little bit easier because you're more upright and have less body weight to pull. Now if you don't have a TRX at your gym or your home, you can try these. These are resistance band. Almost all gyms will have a set of these. So to set up, you want to set your feet about hip width with your knees and your hips soft, and you're pulling the bands right to the side of your ribs. Now as you pull back, you want to focus on squeezing your shoulder blades together like you're pinching a pencil between them. And that will finish it for our dynamic warm-up.